I never imagined I'd be back in my childhood home in Seattle, Washington on Christmas, being accused of stealing from my own father. But there I was, surrounded by the scent of gingerbread cookies and betrayal. My name is Emily Hayes, and at 37, I'd built a solid life on my own terms. You've always been the perfect one, Ava's voice echoed in my mind, her resentment a constant undercurrent. Ironically, I spent my days exposing cybercrime. Never thought I'd be accused of it myself. That morning had started just like always. I arrived early to help Dad with the cooking. He'd been moving slower lately, ever since his mild heart attack in the summer. At 72, he wasn't the same man who used to grill salmon in the backyard all day. "Check the cranberry sauce," he murmured. "You're hiding something." His tone seemed to accuse, his eyes avoiding mine. His tone was off, distant. Then my brother Nathan walked in with his wife Claire. He offered no hug, no smile, just a stiff nod. "You don't belong here anymore," his cold glance screamed. My younger sister Ava arrived last, scrolling her phone like the world depended on it. "You're not fooling anyone," her smirk implied, her disdain palpable. Tension clung to the air. We sat through appetizers in uneasy silence, but when Dad placed the ham on the table, Nathan stood up so fast his chair toppled. "We need to talk about the $60,000, Zeno said," he snapped. "You've betrayed us all," he shouted, his voice venomous. I froze. "What money? Don't play innocent," Ava hissed, her eyes blazing with accusation. "Don't pretend," Ava cut in. "We saw the withdrawals. You helped set up Dad's online banking and then it vanished." Dad looked down, voice cracking. "It was for my treatment, Emily. How could you? You broke my trust," he whispered, his words a knife to my heart. My dad's voice was barely audible, cracking under the weight of betrayal. "The treatments. My cardiologist said I'd need surgery within the year and Medicare won't cover all of it. You knew how desperate I was," he added, his tone heavy with hurt. We'd all been stressed about the cost, but stealing, framing me? "I'm a cybersecurity analyst," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "I investigate financial crime for a living. Why would I steal money from my own father in a way this obvious?" "Because you're greedy," Nathan roared, his face red with rage. "Because you thought we'd never suspect the golden child," Ava snapped, crossing her arms. "Perfect, Emily. College degree, fancy job, living out of state, no one ever questions you. You've always gotten everything," she spat, her jealousy raw. Ava had always marched to her own beat, bounced between freelance gigs and stayed in Dad's guest room. But I hadn't realized that beneath the surface, resentment had festered for years. "Return the money," Nathan demanded. "Or you'll never see Dad again. We've already talked about a restraining order. You'll be cut off forever," he threatened, his voice icy. That was when everything clicked. Nathan's new SUV, Ava's designer shoes, things that didn't add up on their incomes. Without a word, I reached into my tote and pulled out my phone. I'd been working a corporate case for months, an internal data breach scheme involving forged credentials and bank transfers. Just last week, I'd received surveillance footage from local banks. "You want to know where the money went?" I asked, unlocking my phone. "You're about to face the truth," I said, my voice steady, defiant. I turned the screen toward them. Pacific Trust Bank, November 10th, 1:30 p.m., the first withdrawal. Clear as day, Nathan in his Seahawks jacket standing at the counter, Ava beside him, glued to her phone. "That's fake," Ava stammered, but her voice had lost its bite. "You're lying," she cried, her panic rising. "Bank footage is digitally watermarked and timestamped," I said calmly. "It's admissible in court. And the forged signatures on the slips. Forensics flagged them immediately." Dad's eyes widened. "Nathan, Ava, what is she talking about?" "Is this true?" he demanded, his voice shaking with betrayal. I pulled a folder from my bag, my personal copy of the report. 3 withdrawals, I explained, laying out the documents. November 10th, $25K. November 13th, $20K. November 17th, another $15K. Same 2 people each time. Dad picked up the pages with shaking hands. "But how did they get my account info? Remember your overnight stay for stress testing?" I asked gently. "Nathan insisted on staying with you. Your wallet was in the room," You used me, Dad whispered, his heartbreak raw. The realization hit him hard. They'd waited until I helped him set up online banking, then used it against me, banking on the fact that I'd be the first suspect. The dealership was going to repo my SUV, Nathan admitted. We thought we could replace it before anyone noticed. We didn't mean to hurt you, he lied, his voice weak. You framed me, I said, cold rage rising. You stole from Dad and tried to destroy my name. You wanted me ruin, I accused, my anger breaking free. You always had everything, Ava cried. I was just sick of being invisible. This is no visitor cared about us, she sobbed, her resentment spilling over. Nathan's wife, Claire, silent until now, stood up. You told me she took it, she whispered. Nothing you did. You lied to me, she shouted, her voice trembling with fury. The silence in the room was suffocating. I've already contacted the bank's fraud division, I said quietly. This ends now, I declared, my resolve unshaken. They're waiting for Dad's confirmation to move forward. Emily, don't, please, Nathan begged. You can't do this to us, he pleaded, his desperation clear. But Dad looked up, his voice steady now. Family doesn't steal from family, and family certainly doesn't try to frame family for theft. You've broken us, he said, his words final. I reached across the table and gently took Dad's hand. I already spoke with the hospital, I said quietly. I can reschedule your procedure for next month. I'll take care of everything. I'll protect you, I promised, my voice soft but firm. You don't have to do that, Dad said, his voice rough with emotion. Yes, I do, I replied, because that's what real family does. We help each other. We don't lie. We don't steal. Unlike them, I thought, my heart heavy but resolute. Across the table, Nathan and Ava sat stiff and silent. Dad reached for his phone with trembling hands and dialed the number I had given him weeks ago. Pacific Trust's fraud department. I listened as he began the heartbreaking process of reporting his own children. As he spoke, I looked at Nathan and Ava. Really looked. When had they turned into people capable of this? Was it years of resentment, pride, desperation? You chose this, I thought, their betrayal a wound. The ham sat cold and untouched on the table, surrounded by plates that no one had the appetite to clear. This wasn't the Christmas we imagined, but it was the one we'd never forget. The next 2 days were a blur. I took time off work to help Dad sort out the mess, talking to police, scanning records, drafting reports. Each conversation unearthed a new betrayal. On Friday morning, Dad handed me a folder. I found these in Ava's closet, he said. Inside were credit card statements. 6 accounts, all opened in his name. Thousands spent on electronics, spas, luxury hotels. They've been draining you, I said, my voice tight with anger. I sifted through them with detached efficiency. My analyst brain kicked in even as my heart sank. This is identity theft, I said quietly. She's been living off your credit with the bank withdrawals. This isn't just bad. It's criminal. They'll go to jail, Dad whispered. My own kids. How could they? He asked, his voice breaking. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Claire. Can we meet? There's more you need to know. We met at a quiet cafe near the bay. She looked exhausted. Nathan's gambling again, she said, eyes dull. The car wasn't in danger of repossession. He lied. He used the money to pay off betting debts. He's destroyed us, she confessed, her voice hollow. I swallowed hard. Nathan had gone through rehab 12 years ago. We'd all believed he was clean. There's more, Claire added. He got Lucas involved. Told him to tell police he saw you at the bank. Said it was just a joke, a harmless family prank, he called it. He corrupted our son, she said, her tears falling. My stomach turned. He dragged his own son into this. He told Lucas no one would get hurt, but my son's been crying for 2 days. I'm leaving him. Emily, I won't raise a child in this madness. I'm done, she said, holding a photo from my college graduation. Were there signs? He asked. Did I miss them? Did I fail them? He murmured, his guilt heavy. We all did, I said, sitting beside him. They hid it well. But they can't hide any more, I thought, my determination set. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Ava pacing nervously. Don't open it, I warned. She'll manipulate you, I cautioned, my voice urgent. But Dad already had. She burst in. Dad, please, you have to drop the charges. They're saying it's felony fraud. You can't destroy us, she pleaded, her voice steely. Before you stole from me. If you've been holding your breath like I was, just wait until you see what happened when the police got involved. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what came next, because this Christmas fallout was just the beginning. The shiny new iPhone in Ava's manicured hand gleamed under the porch light. Paid for with money she stole. You're not a failure because of me, I said quietly. You're in this position because of your choices. And now you have to face the consequences. You chose greed over family, I said, my voice cold. Final. The police called this morning, Dad added, his voice. They want us to come in tomorrow to discuss pressing charges against both of you. Ava's face crumpled. You'd really send your own children to jail? You'd abandon us, she sobbed, her manipulation failing. You really tried to frame your sister for theft? Dad countered. You've shamed us, he said, his words cutting deep. Just then, we heard the crunch of tires on gravel. Nathan's car pulled into the driveway. He got out, looking nothing like the sharp-dressed investment banker he played at being. Shirt wrinkled, hair unkempt. Family meeting, he announced, striding in without knocking. I have a proposal. You'll regret this, he warned, his tone menacing. You're not supposed to be here, I reminded him. The police were very clear. He waved me off. This is more important. He looked at me. Emily, you make good money. If you just loan us enough to replace what we took, Dad can tell the bank it was a misunderstanding. You owe us, he insisted, his entitlement stark. I stared at him. You want me to pay you to cover the money you stole? To erase the fact that you tried to destroy me? You're delusional, I snapped, my rage unleashed. Dad's voice sharpened. Are you actually suggesting that Emily should fix your crimes? You've lost all honor, he said, his disgust evident. It's not just about money, I said, standing. You got your own son to lie to the police. You crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. Nathan's mask cracked. You don't understand. If this gets out, I lose everything. My license, my clients, my career is over? Maybe it should be, I said. My shrouded, every ounce of trust anyone gave you. She told you, he muttered, jaw clenched. Claire had no right. She had every right, I snapped. She's protecting Lucas, something you clearly failed to do. Ava, still seated, finally spoke. Maybe Nathan's right. If Emily helps, you can't let us fall, she begged, her voice cracking. No. Dad cut her off. No more lies. No more bailing you out. You need to face what you've done. You're done, he said, his authority absolute. Nathan's expression turned cold. If you go through with this, you'll never see your grandkids again. You'll lose us forever. He threatened, his cruelty exposed. The air went still, but Dad didn't flinch. If that's your choice, Nathan, so be it. But I won't be blackmailed. Not anymore. You've lost me, he said, his voice resolute. I looked at them. My own siblings. Strangers now in every way that mattered, I replied. You broke us, I said, my voice steady, mournful. Everything since has just proved it. They left. And as the door closed, Dad sat heavily in his chair, shoulders sagging. I keep hoping I'll wake up, he said softly, took his hand. We'll get through this, one step at a time. We're stronger than this, I assured, my heart aching but firm. But as their cars disappeared down the street, I wasn't sure we ever truly would. Some things, once broken, should stay that way. Nathan was sentenced to 24 months. Ava got 18. Both were ordered to pay restitution. Outside the courthouse, Claire approached us. Lucas trailed behind her, wrapped in his father's oversized jacket, eyes fixed on the ground. Emily, Claire said softly. Lucas has something he wants to say. My 17-year-old nephew stepped forward. His voice trembled. I'm sorry, Aunt Emily. Dad said it was just a joke, that no one would believe me anyway. I didn't know. I cut him off with a hug. He stiffened and melted into me, sobbing against my shoulder. I don't want him to go to jail, he choked. I trusted him, he cried, his pain raw. I know, buddy, I whispered. What else could I say? How do you explain justice to a boy who just wanted to believe in his father? Dad rested a hand on Luca's shoulder. You'll always have a place with us, no matter what. We're your family, he said, his voice warm, comforting. Claire wiped her eyes. We're moving in with my sister next week. I filed for divorce yesterday. Another piece of our broken family lost. That evening, I found myself digging through old photo albums and DVDs in Dad's den, surrounded by dusty fragments of a better time. Ava's high school graduation, Nathan's wedding before everything fell apart, Christmas mornings, poolsides, laughter once loud and easy. Dad walked in quietly, settling beside me, trying to understand when it all went wrong. I nodded. When did they stop seeing me as a sister and start seeing me as competition? When did they hate me? I asked, my voice breaking. He sighed, picking up a photo of Ava in her first dance recital. Did your mother and I cause this by celebrating your achievements? By helping with college? Did we push them away? He wondered, his guilt heavy. No, I said gently. They made their choices, adult choices, and now they're facing adult consequences. They chose betrayal, I said, my clarity firm. He nodded slowly. Still, a parent always wonders. There was a pause, then, they wanted to meet with us before sentencing. I stiffened. Why? Their lawyers think showing remorse might help with sentencing. He squeezed my hand. We don't have to go. But a week later, we did. The lawyer's office was sterile and cold. Nathan and Ava sat across from us, looking smaller, hollowed out. I've started going to Gamblers Anonymous, Nathan began. Twice a week. I should have gone years ago. I'm trying to change, he claimed. His voice hollow. I'm seeing a therapist, Ava added, eyes downcast. Trying to work on my self-worth issues. I'm sorry, Emily, she said, her words empty. Their apologies felt rehearsed, scripted. But I listened. So did Dad. Expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke. I believe you're sorry. Sorry you got caught. Sorry you're being punished, but are you sorry for what you did? Do you even care? He asked, his voice sharp, searching. Neither of them could answer. Not really. He stood. I hope prison teaches you what we couldn't. You've lost us, he said, his tone final. As we turned to leave, Ava called after me. Emily, don't you have anything to say? I paused. Just this. I would have helped you. All you had to do was ask. You chose betrayal over trust. That's what hurts most. You broke our family, I said, my voice steady, pained. Driving home, Dad broke the silence. You did the right thing. He stood for truth, he said, his voice proud. Did I? I asked. Yes, he said firmly. You're not responsible for their ruin, only how you rise afterward. And for the first time in months, I believed him. That evening, we sat on Dad's porch, the fading sun casting gold across the garden. 2 unopened letters rested between us. One from Nathan, one from Ava. They've been writing every week, Dad said, touching the envelopes. Claire says Nathan is leading a Gamblers Anonymous group inside. And Ava's teaching accounting to other inmates, I added, keeping my voice neutral. They're trying to play us, I thought, my trust gone. The ones they sent me still sealed, still in the drawer. Lucas is doing well, Dad continued. His grades are climbing. Claire says he's talking about studying law. I smiled. He wants to help people like us, those who've been manipulated. He's stronger than them, I said, my pride in him fierce. We had dinner with Claire and Lucas twice a month now. Slowly, we were rebuilding something new. Family rooted in truth, not obligation. Emily, Dad said gently, I've been thinking about forgiveness. I tensed. Not forgetting, he clarified, but carrying all this anger, it's heavy. You deserve peace, he urged, his voice tender. He was right. The anger I thought protected me was beginning to isolate me. Just last week, I'd walked out on a promising date because the guy mentioned his siblings. I got a call from the restitution office, I said. Nathan and Ava have started making payments, small but consistent. Dad nodded. Baby steps. Do you ever wonder if we did the right thing? Every day, he said. But then I remember they made their choices. I picked Ava's letter, not ready. That's okay, he said. Healing takes time. You'll find your way, he reassured, his faith in me strong. We sat in silence as the sky turned purple. Life was moving forward. Dad had even started seeing someone. Just coffee dates. Nothing serious. I've been offered a new role, I said, leading a cybersecurity program. His eyes lit up. Emily, that's incredible. You're unstoppable, he said, his smile warm. I want to turn all this into something that helps others. He squeezed my hand. Your mom would be proud. You too, I said. You stood strong. We're survivors, I said, our bond unbreakable. Later, at home, I moved the letters from my drawer into a box labeled Family History. Not forgotten, but no longer shaping my present. A message lit up my phone. Lucas got an A on his ethics paper. Says you inspired him. I smiled. Tell him I'm proud. He's our hope, I thought, my heart lifting. Sometimes family breaks, but in the cracks something stronger can grow. And that's where I've chosen to live, among the real, where trust is earned and peace is possible. If you've ever had to choose peace over family, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, advice, or even just a few words of support in the comments. I'm learning that healing isn't about forgetting, it's about rebuilding stronger. If my story resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe. Sometimes we survive by turning our scars into stepping stones for ourselves and others.